In 1865, one word echoed through the Excelsior Mountains: silver. The discovery of silver ore was the beginning of the Endowment Mine and its many years of production. In addition to silver, the mine also produced a considerable amount of lead, as well as smaller quantities of zinc, copper, and gold. Production at the mine continued from the 1860s until 1884. The mine was then worked only intermittently until about 1904. From the 1920s through the 1940s, lessees worked the mine. The Endowment Mine was allowed to remain in operation during World War II. This was because silver, lead, and zinc were considered strategic metals. There are two buildings at the mine. The first is this wood-framed cabin partially covered with corrugated metal. The interior of the cabin is a mess, with sand and silt everywhere due to flash floods. The room at the upper end of the cabin got hit hardest by the flash floods and is partially filled with rocks and sand. Across the canyon is the second building. This wooden shack is near the entrance to the mine and was most likely the blacksmith's shop. Inside there is a workbench along one wall. Bed springs and other junk are scattered about. The front wall of the blacksmith shop is skewed at an angle, possibly due to the rock and soil piled against it. Crossing the canyon again, we find a small wooden head frame positioned next to an open stope. Ore could be hauled up out of the stope on an inclined track and dumped into the chute attached to the head frame. The chute must have emptied into a cart of some sort, but how they got it down from here is unclear. Perhaps a simple aerial tram was used to bring the ore down to this flat area near the blacksmith's shop. Now let's take a look inside the mine. I've edited this to show just a few of the highlights. Shortly after entering the mine, I came to a small homemade ladder. Above it is a barricade made of log cribbing. Later, I came to a winze. This is a shaft that goes from one level inside the mine down to one or more lower levels. On the left is the area where the hoist would have been. It's braced with logs and timbers, some of which have been charred by a fire. A complex arrangement of support timbers and log cribbing surrounds the hoist area. Moving to this side, we can get a look down the steeply inclined winze. This winze goes down more than 300 feet from this level. A little further on, I came to an ore chute from a higher level. Looking up into the chute, I saw more fire-blackened timbers. Eventually, I came to a junction. One tunnel splits off to the right, but has been backfilled. The main tunnel continues straight ahead. On the left is a stope going up. The main tunnel is 800 feet long and has at least one more winze. However, I didn't want to go that far, so I turned back here. Here's another look at the winze area as I'm heading out of the mine. Since the mid-1900s, there has been no significant activity at the mine. However, exploratory drilling was done in 2025. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this trip to the Endowment Mine in Nevada. Be sure to check out some of my other videos featuring ghost towns, mines, and more.